All right. Hello. Are we live? We are live. Hello. We are here. We are here. We're queer. Get used to it. Anyways, good to see everybody. It's been a couple of weeks. I am putting up the chat right now. Hold on. And we will get started here.
The holidays are upon us.
Go to 1-800-Flowers.com.
Find the perfect gift.
And wow the people you love.
Wow, loved it.
1-800-Flowers.com.
Don't they just sell flowers?
So much more.
Rosé candles.
Hot sauce pack.
There's some cookies.
Happy holidays.
Cookies.
Happy holidays.
All right. So that was confusing. Cassidy, that's new. You know, that was so funny and confusing. Like, I didn't even have a response. I'm just sitting here, like, totally, like, stunned. Like, what the hell? I think I just totally grabbed the wrong link. Okay. Now we're going to copy. I was so confused about, like, the Christmas commercial. Watch. I'll get, like, nailed for that. They'll be like, YouTube will be like, you can't display this chat. You can't, like, monetize it because of this commercial. Let's see. That was funny. There we go. There we go. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. I hope you've had a good couple of weeks. I have been so busy working, and I just, like, have not had enough time to even, like, prepare for a live stream, let alone, like, have the live stream or host the live stream. So, why can't I see the chat? Oh, there we go. So anyways, I miss you. I hope things are well. Let me know what you've been up to in the last couple of weeks. And I'm excited to announce I actually have 3 monitors now. Like, usually I've been... In the beginning, it was just the one monitor off my laptop. Then I got the second monitor, and that really blew my socks off. Now I have a third monitor, and I'm like, holy shit. Streaming is so much better now with 3 monitors. So this is the first stream I'm having with 3 monitors, and I'm very excited to explore that. Like, already I feel like it's just like a ton of space. But what's great about that is I can review, I have a screen to review some things and look at it before I drop it into the screen that you can see. So, anyways. Good to see everybody. I see Cassidy. Hello. Becca, thank you so much for becoming a monad. I need to change that. It needs to be Zeta. I'll get to that later, though. I shall get to that later. Anyways, Tyler, good to see you. Altier, good to see you. We are definitely going to wait a little bit for people to get in because I haven't been on for a while, so I think the notifications are going to take a while to get to people. So let's just relax. Let me know what you're having for snacks, drinks, whatever. I got polar seltzer. I've got this water thing. I don't have any snacks. I have plenty to vape, though, because I just, like, I failed my anti-vaping mission. We are going to revisit that. It's the least of my worries right now, so also it's like I'm trying to maintain so much of my life right now, so the vaping is the least of my worries. And by maintaining my life, what I mean by that is, like, the extra work I've been having to do, which is just generally, my work is surrounded, by event oriented things. So I had to do some Christmas events things like Christmas tree lighting and this, that, and the other, and luncheons and just so much weird extra work. So I haven't had enough time to prepare for a Friday stream. So by the time Friday rolls around, I'm really tired. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Sorry. Like, I'm just going to take some time. So, but I miss you guys. So I'm super happy to be back. Did you say pancake, Altier? That's amazing. Is it morning for you? Hello, Hyperborean. Says same here, Jan. Yeah. It's 8 p.m. and you're having pancakes. Is that correct? p.m. and pancakes. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Go you. You go, girl. I'm not sure if I like this camera angle. It's like a little too down, maybe? Yeah, that's maybe better. I don't know. No rule against night cakes. Yes, thank you so much, Mark. And thank you for joining us, Mark. I hope things are going well. Linder truffles with red beans and rice. I don't know about that one. I think it's because there's the combination of like the beans and the rice and the truffles. So in my head, I'm like, that doesn't seem good. But obviously, you're not mixing that all together in the same bowl, right? 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 You're not mixing that all together in the same bowl, right? Hanging in there. We got some odd topics today, I think. You know, like I expected more on my comeback after my impromptu 2-week break, but I'm just like going around town looking at the latest news, and I'm like, like very peculiar things, but nothing that really super wows me, but nothing that isn't worth coming on and talking about simply because I have the opportunity to talk with my lovely followers. Becca is sipping on some iced green tea and Diet Coke, separately, not together. You couldn't decide. Now, I like to have several beverages. Does anybody else like to have several beverages? Is it me? Because, like, I like to have an assortment of beverages, like plain water, like a sparkling water, and then like a diet soda or a coffee or something. Like, I need multiple beverages. I need an assortment all at once. All the beverages all the time. Yeah, totally. Totally. When you get older, you need multiple bathrooms. I'm not quite there yet. No, not quite there yet. Diet soda pissery. Well, shall we get to it? Do you like the Christmas background I generated? Oh, that reminds me. I got a real Christmas tree this year, but it's like a tiny one, and I'm really proud of it because it has mostly Star Wars decorations. And a couple of Star Trek ones. You can't really see it well. Dang. I'm downloading it. Okay, where is it? What the fuck? What are you talking about? I can't see it. Ow. Oh, here. This is my Christmas tree. I think it's a little too, like, blurred out, frankly, to see. But, you know, here in the center, we have Boba Fett. What's that? I forget what that is. There's, like, Princess Leia somewhere back here. There's the Starship Enterprise. There's the, oh, yeah, I think this down here. Yes, it's the Millennium Falcon. And the Millennium Falcon actually plugs in and lights up. I need to take a video of this. But it's like a pure, geeky, like, Star Wars tree with tiny bulbs. And then at the top, there's a USS Enterprise. And then there's a Klingon bird of prey at the top here. So, it's like mostly Star Wars. And I wish I could have it like all Star Wars, but I had like the couple of Star Trek ones, and I'm like, what the hell? Let's be sacrilege and put a couple of there in too. So that is that, and it's on top of my rattlesnake tank. You know, I have my pet rattlesnake in there. She's asleep right now, so the light's out. And then it's on top of this like cylindrical like corner table thing with the light under it. Like, this is so ridiculous looking. It's so funny. It's just like a Christmas tree on top of a rattlesnake on top of like a tin can. It's so ridiculous, but I love it. Okay, it's mine and it's in my corner and I adore it. So that is my Christmas tree. Has anybody else done a Christmas tree this year? You know, I understand the hatred of Christmas and not really wanting much to do with it, but as I've gotten older, I've learned to just kind of make it for myself and find it just like really funny and hysterical. And I said this precise thing on the live stream that I was on the Neogenian Oculus with Susan and Philip, but I mentioned it's kind of like, I just think of it as a chance to dress my home in drag. You know, you get to put glitter everywhere, you get to put tinsel and just garlands and wreaths. I mean, it's fabulous. I love it. It's a fabulous time to just decorate. So I take it very aesthetically and just very like surface level and just like do my own thing. So I'm very proud of my little Star Wars Christmas tree. And I should have taken a better picture, but I promise you, everything is wonderful. It's magical. Yes, thank you, Mark. It is magical. The geeky tree. Yes, exactly. It's the geeky tree. 'Tis a geeky tree. Dressing your home in drag? That's what Christmas is. Is it not? Is Christmas not gay? I mean, is it not fabulous? Are you not dressing your home in drag? Like, even the straightest of people are dressing their homes in drag at this time of year, okay? Lights, glitter, are you kidding me? This is what happens. Okay. So anyways, and even on top of that, this Christmas tree background you see before yourselves, I generated this through the AI generator thing. So this is like my own generated Christmas like background. So if you like it, I don't know, maybe I can provide a download link on Patreon or something if you wanted to. I was trying to create something just very generic, you know. A very generic AI generated piece here. Totally Jan vibes. Yeah. I took it, you know, I didn't do this like on the first take. Like I actually had to like mess around and sort of get the look I was going for. Speaking of decorative things, why don't we jump right into some of these topics? And one decorative thing I've got on my mind that's become a little amusing to me is this case where a satanic display inside Iowa State Capitol was destroyed. Why is it in the state capitol? I don't know. Where is the picture that I have for this thing? Because I find it just really amusing. Okay, so I guess there was a satanic display in the Iowa Capitol. I don't know why it was there, or for what reason, or for how, or I think I'm missing a lot of information here. But let's see. Let's blow this up. In Des Moines, Iowa, a satanic temple display inside Iowa Capitol in Des Moines was destroyed, and a former U.S. Navy fighter pilot who was recently defeated in a state house election in Mississippi is accused of causing the damage. Ah! Okay, but here's... Is this actually the guy, or is this somebody else? Who's sitting here looking like super forlorn as shit? Look, I've got nothing against the Satanist. You know, in most cases, I find Satanists to be more of an ally than not. In more of a sense, like they're the enemy of my enemies kind of way. So, I don't... I'm not prejudiced against Satanists. Like, I don't... Like, I think a lot of them are very nice, but there's just a lot about Satanism I disagree with. A lot of aspects I agree with of Satanism, but I'll take it over other mainstream shit, right? I will rather take that than something else. I would rather eat a mint chocolate than like something that disgusts me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, I don't really care for it, but I'll take it. I don't know who this is. A man prays in Latin in front of a display installed by Satanic Temple, Iowa, at the Iowa State Capitol in Des Moines, Iowa. Can you just stop saying it's in Iowa? This isn't me. I'm like reading this shit, and they keep saying Iowa way too much. On Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, a candidate in Mississippi House of Representatives is accused of destroying the display inside the Iowa Capitol. The display is permitted by rules that govern religious installations inside the Capitol, but has drawn criticism from many conservatives. Caleb McCalloo? Is that who the guy? A man prays in Latin. Oh my fuck. Oh. I'm trying to be nice. But this is a choice, okay? I'm trying to be nice and non-judgmental, but the whole look of this is a choice and not a very good one. Okay. Hold on, I gotta untangle my cord. It's not tangled, it's just like twisted. Hold on. Jesus. I'm trying to be nice. It's not that I want to be mean and vicious, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit of a mean girl right now. And when I see this image and I think about like how this religion wants to be treated seriously, and then I see this, I'm just like, there's a mark that's been missed somehow. Does that make sense? There's a mark that's been missed somehow, and I'm not sure where. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something just off. You know, it's like when you arrange your knickknacks on the shelf, and even though, like, they're organized and clean and on the shelf, you're like, there's something about this that doesn't look right. Either you need to arrange it, like, by size, aesthetic, or something, but, like, joy to the world, reason has come. Oh, that's what it says on this picture. Hold on. Okay. We need to do some more investigating. What does the banner say? Because here's, you know, this might come a part where, like, no, you silly bastard, stop it. I'm talking about my computer. Okay, let's see. Joy to the world, reason has come. Yes, that is something I can get along with. Honestly, as a Neogenian, we are all about reason, and I like that slogan. Reason has come. To every... what does this say? To every... something... this space. To every guest of this space, happy holidays. I can't make that out. Iowa atheists and freethinkers. What are they about? Iowa atheists and freethinkers. They're thinking freely. They're thinking all over the place. They're just all over. Oh my god. Having 3 monitors right now is like the best thing ever in streaming existence. And I bet you $1 million at some point I'm going to have 4. And I'm going to think like just having 3 is like too silly. May Earth receive Aunt Math. Yes. Let's see. Iowa atheists and freethinkers. Now this is what I'm finding. We're doing a little digging here. Right here on this. Right there. Right in there. There we go. Right there. Iowa atheists and freethinkers. I don't know why I'm a mix of Australian and English right now. Anyways. Let's see. Iowa atheists and freethinkers. A place for the non-religious to call home. Okay, I'm non-religious. Join. Oh, that's not a button. Wait, why do you say join now? That's not a button. Iowa atheist and freethinkers condemns destruction of satanic temple display. Oh, right in the juicy gossip. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking this was going to be general information on their group. I didn't think they were going to talk about this. Anyways, each year there have been winter solstice seasonal holiday and sectarian religious displays set up for public viewing in the state capitol, Rotunda, IAF, as well as other organizations, have proudly presented a display alongside the religious groups with a message of inclusion, separation of church and state, and then protecting the rights of all Iowans to have freedoms of as well as from religion. Interesting. I think the one thing I do like about Satanists is they really love to dig into like the religious freedoms and rights. Like they're like, oh, you get these things, well, we get these things too, bitch. And I love that sort of, it's not really pettiness, like it's very well deserved, but it's spicy, you know what I mean? Like they're very Satanists are very spicy when it comes to this. This is unacceptable, says they. Iowa atheists and freethinkers remain committed to the free speech protection of all Iowans as well as the separation of church and state, calling for the removal of a holiday display that is found objectionable due to religious reasons that has led to the destruction of the satanic display ought to be condemned in the strongest words possible. When our leaders make it permissible to destroy religious or non-religious displays they find religiously objectionable, they are abdicating. Pfft. Jan, stop it. Their responsibility to safeguard the freedom expression of the citizens they represent. Jason Benel, Presidente. Join us for our annual solstice party. Okay, this is very non-related. The family event where they provide pancakes and coffee. What in the... I want pancakes and... See, there's another place where me and Satanists get along, which is pancakes and coffee. Some are just... Mark says, some are just atheists and freethinkers with a sense of flair. You know, if you're going to do that, at least have the flair. So, look, I think they have a right to be outraged. But look at this. Look at this. This is the most ugliest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? No hate on the artist or whatever, but like, what in the crappy, like, cheap fucking, like, clearance sell Joanne's crafted shit is this? Like, what is that? Frankly, I would destroy it just for it being an atrocity to fashion. Like, are you kidding me with this? This is what you choose to represent yourself? That's where my outrage is in. Not that they have a right to be there, but not if they're gonna not bring style to the table. And this guy sitting in front of it just doesn't happen. This is a time to shine, Satanists. Okay, Satanists, do you hear me? This is a time to fashionably shine. And frankly, as Satanists, you should have the most sense of fashion ever. What are you doing? What are you doing to your people? Tyler says they weren't allowed to use a real goat skull. You don't need to use a real goat skull to realize that the disco goat skull isn't going to do it for you. Look, I love disco ball shit, but this... Come on. Like, this is what a teenager makes in their room. Like, this is a high school project. Are you kidding me? This is something that somebody makes to put on a parade float. This is not what you put in there to, like, represent yourself. What is happening in the world? What happened to the fashion? Like, what happened to Satanism? Like, it was way more stylish in the 70s, 80s, and 90s than it is now. Like, it's totally, like, I am just so appalled at the lack of fashion here. What has happened? They should learn to decorate better than Melania Trump. This is like Melania Trump like takes over like the satanic decorations. Like she took over Christmas decorations. Where was that thing? God, there was like that clip of her like talking about like really not liking doing the Christmas decorations. Christmas video? Is this it? Because that was really funny. Oh no. It's Christmas decorating, talk amongst yourselves. This is where I need, see, this is where I need like a crew of people. I need somebody else to like talk to the audience while I look this shit up. Is this it?
I'm working like a my ass off. I know. That Christmas stuff that, who gives a about Christmas stuff and decorations? My ass off. I know. That Christmas stuff that, who gives a about Christmas stuff and decorations?
Who gives a fuck? That's so funny. That's how I feel like that's the attitude of like whoever decorated this. I'm sorry. It's just god awful. Mark says, I'm pretty sure she decorated with the blood of her enemies. I mean, let's see. Where did my article go? So anyways, a satanic display inside the Iowa Capitol in Des Moines was destroyed. U.S. Navy fighter pilot who was recently defeated in a state house election in Mississippi is accused of causing the damage. The display is permitted by the rules govern religious installations inside the Capitol, but has drawn criticisms from many conservatives. Of course it did. Including presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. Of course he did. Motherfucking mannequin. Anyways, a Facebook posting by... I think... the reason that Ron DeSantis is like against this installation, frankly, is because I think he's afraid that this looks more human than him. That's what I think is going on. Ron DeSantis, as I've explained before, is so inhuman. It's like the uncanny valley. He's such a mannequin. Like, he's literally a lizard person. I think he opposes this just because it looks more human than him. And he's, you know, he's afraid. He's afraid of that competition. Like, he's very intimidated. Anyways, a Facebook posting by the Satanic Temple on Thursday said the display is known as Baphomet statue was destroyed beyond repair. It looks like it's made out of paper mache. Is it really that hard? Anyways, Michael Cassidy, 35, of Lauderdale, Mississippi, was charged with fourth-degree criminal mischief. The Iowa Department of Public Safety said Friday he was released after arrest. I mean, what are you going to do? Cassidy is a Republican who was defeated by Democrat Keith Jackson in the Mississippi State House District 45 in November. Well, there you go. They have the whole Republican, like, it's the Democrats. They're coming for us. They're the satanic cult that steals children and kills them and eats their blood. Anyways, Cassidy's campaign website remains active. The biography on it says he served as a Navy fighter pilot and as a pilot instructor. He describes himself as a Christian conservative who loves our nation and is committed to preserving the blessings of liberty bestowed upon us by the founding generation. That's too much, girl. That is like extra. Messages left Friday with Cassidy and with the Satanic Temple were not immediately returned. On Friday, part of the display remained at the site in the Capitol. A lone man who declined to give his name sat in front of the display and recited Christian prayers, making references to Jesus. It wasn't immediately clear if he was a supporter or a detractor of the Satanic Temple. Oh, is that this man right here? Jesus Christ. The display is on the east side of the Capitol, beside a column and a ornate staircase. It's about 100 feet from a Christmas tree displayed on the rotunda. Founded in 2013, the Salem, Massachusetts-based Satanic Temple doesn't believe in Satan, but describes itself as a non-theistic religious organization that advocates for secularism. It is separate from the Church of Satan, which was founded in the 1960s. Shout out to the Church of Satan in the 1960s. Now they had style. Anyways, the display caught Cassidy's attention earlier this week. On Tuesday, he reposted a message on X, formerly known as Twitter, that included two photos. Can I just say, I'm so tired of this shit, where now we're calling Twitter X, but, like, they have to say formerly known as Twitter. Like, this is fucking Prince. Like, the artist formerly known as Prince. Like, we don't even get to say this. Like, we have to say that every fucking time now. One of a Thomas Jefferson statue being removed from an unspecific location and one of the Satanic Temple display. We have reached the point where our capitals are removing Jefferson while monuments to Satan are erected, the message read. A fund was set up to raise money for Cassidy's legal defense following his arrest after $20,000 was raised. Cassidy wrote on X that the fundraising was halted. But late Friday morning, Cassidy wrote that he had been notified of more potential legal charges, unfortunately, so I've opened the legal fund donation back up. The Polk County Attorney's Office declined comment. Anyways, DeSantis, mannequin motherfucker, the Florida governor who frequently campaigns in Iowa ahead of next month's caucuses, said Tuesday that former President Donald Trump's administration was partly to blame for the existence of the display. The Des Moines Register reported... I hate sentences like that, or ends of sentences like that. Anyways, Trump was president in 2019 when the Internal Revenue Service determined that the Satanic Temple should be designated a church. Anyways, polls show Trump with a wide lead over DeSantis and other Republicans running for president. It's true. Honestly, I don't want to talk about Trump this stream, but sadly, polls are doing pretty good for him. This story has been corrected to show that Michael Cassidy was recently defeated in a state house election in Missouri. Oh, okay. Bleep all bloom. Anyways, We don't see any pictures of the damage. Where's pictures of the damage? That's what I want to see. Iowa satanic statue destroyed. Did we get to see pictures of the destruction? And again, I'm not against, like, they should have their statue, right? They should be able to do what they want. But just personally, I think it's ugly. There are no pictures of the destruction at all. Like, none. Like, just pictures. Just pictures of it, like, set up. Man. This thing. It just doesn't look good. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sure the artist is very proud and they put a lot of time into it. And frankly, I don't mind this in a different context. I just don't think that was the right one to pick for that display. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know. That's better for a party or something, or maybe your house. Like, there are way more beautiful, like, statuesque, like, things. Like, gorgeous things you can do with that image. And that was just, like... I mean, you ordered Baphomet from Wish. Come on. You straight up ordered Baphomet from Wish. What's happening? What's happening here? It was erected. I don't know. What do you all think? What do you, like, tell me in the chat. How do you feel about this? Do you think it's a good display? Do you like it? Do you think it's shitty? Do you think it's, like, gaudy? Obviously, I don't think it was right for somebody else to, like, tear it down, regardless of how ugly I think it is. You just don't, you don't touch shit like that. So, like, what do you think? What do you think about this? And on that note, I have to pee. Tell me what you think. Tell me. You have to. Let's see. Mark says, it needed to make its point, but a slightly higher budget could have been nice. Yeah, it's like, how much was the artist paid for that bullshit? The money was spent on candles. Seriously, like the rest of this display looks way better than that thing. Hello, Elise. Good to see you. Satanic displayed state house damage. Are you sure it wasn't damaged already? Because the concept of it sure was. It's just, you know, and I actually do like, I like the disco ball Baphomet head idea. Like, I totally do. Like, I totally like that. But this is, there's a time and a place, and this ain't it, honey. This ain't it. But go for them to fight this. That they have every right to fight it, okay? Like, if we're going to have religious displays in capitals, then they should be included. They have every right for that. But put something there that's a bit more decent, or at least a bit more hearty. I don't know. Anyways, shall we move on? Right. So, we have Elon Musk's mother. Which, honestly, I never thought about her before at all. What is it, Maya? Maya Musk? Or something like that? Or May Musk? I have never in my life, like, ever thought about Elon Musk's mother. And so, like, this is the kind of, like, first time I'm looking into her. And, frankly, just based on looks and looks alone, so I'm talking, like, skin deep, she's a gorgeous woman. Like, this is really fucking cool. Like, go queen, alright? She's a very gorgeous lady. Very pretty. But anyways, what the fuck is going on with her? Let's find out. Elon Musk's mother. I don't know why she reminds me of, like, Cruella de Vil, or just kind of like, the Baroness, or, let's see, what's her face from The Devil's Wear Prada? Like, that sort of vibe. But anyways, so Elon Musk's mother is furious at Biden after the FCC denies Starlink subsidy. What is Starlink? What is Starlink? I'm looking this up. It's a thingy. It's just like a connection to, like, internet and stuff, like a satellite type of thing. World's most advanced broadband satellite internet. Starlink is the world's first largest satellite constellation using a low Earth orbit to deliver broadband internet capable of supporting stream online gaming, video calls, and more. Leveraging advanced satellites and user hardware coupled with our deep experience with both spacecraft and on-orbit operations, Starlink delivers high-speed, low-latency internet to all users all over the world. Isn't that special? So this is pretty much Elon Musk's sort of investment. SpaceX founder Elon Musk's mother on Wednesday said she's furious at President Biden after the Federal Communications Commission's, the FCC, denied a $885.5 million subsidy for SpaceX satellite internet unit Starlink. Sad. She says, I am the mother of Elon Musk. His goal is to make this world a better place. The president wants to stop him. Have you any idea how furious I am? May Musk wrote on a post on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. I'm sick of that sentence! So she's furious. My son is trying to make the world a better place. Okay, bitch. And then she says, people in other countries are proud of Elon and do not understand the US president's motive. Please tell me how I should answer them. Think of the people in other countries. Anyways, May's remarks were a repost of FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr's thread on X earlier this week, in which he discussed the agency's decision to reinstate Starlink's nearly $886 million award. The internet unit received the award in 2020 after agreeing to provide high-speed internet service for more than 640,000 rural homes and businesses across 35 states. The FCC rescinded the award in August 22, which Starlink challenged. In its decision this week upholding that move, FCC said Starlink failed to meet the burden of the subsidies requirements, that the internet unit is not reasonably capable of providing high-speed internet to areas it agreed to. So, once again, we have technology that Elon Musk is slapping his name on, and he's saying this is the newest thing and it's going to help the world, and it just doesn't measure up. It just doesn't cut out. Like, it doesn't do what it says it's going to do. Are we surprised? This is not the first time. Hello, this is usual. Like, we've heard this before with Musk. Like, this is business as usual for him. Anyways. In his dissenting statement to X, Carr said the FCC is adding itself to the growing list of federal agencies engaging in the regulatory harassment of Elon Musk. Oh, man. He argued the FCC's decision fits the Biden administration's pattern of regulatory harassment. Elon Musk further railed against the decision, writing on X, "Doesn't make sense. Starlink is the only company actually solving rural broadband at scale. Is it though? They should arguably dissolve the program and return funds to taxpayers, but definitely not send it to those who aren't getting the job done," Musk added. What actually happened is that the companies that lobbied for this massive earmark, not us, thought they would win, but instead were outperformed by Starlink. So now they're changing the rules to prevent SpaceX from competing. Why is it that Elon Musk is always in this everybody's pick on me, like victimized sort of thing? Everybody's picking on me. In the statement to The Hill, a spokesperson of the FCC noted that FCC is an independent U.S. government agency overseen by Congress, not the president. The FCC is tasked with ensuring consumers everywhere have access to high-speed broadband that is reliable and affordable. The agency also has a responsibility to be a good steward of limited public funds meant to expand access to rural broadband. broadband. Not fun applications that failed to meet basic program requirements, FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel said in a statement. The Hill has reached out to the White House for comment. This was updated today. So this is pretty... Okay, so... Elon Musk tried to get a subsidy for this project, was denied, and what's so funny about this whole article is it's really not about his mom, but the fact that she said something. Oh, I love this. Okay, so here's an article that's more about the same thing, but it's more like right-wing. Elon Musk... Oh, jeez, go away. No. Close. Elon Musk's mom goes mama bear on Biden after veiled threat. Have you any idea how furious I am? This is so funny. It's like the same information, but it's worded so differently. And yeah, like I said, this article that we're looking at right now is primarily right-wing influenced. So it's biased. There's an old phrase that goes, behind every successful man is a strong woman. What the phrase doesn't say is that very often the strong woman is the man's mother. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk seems to be no exception to that rule. Musk's mother, model and dietitian Mae Musk, said in an interview last year that she recognized her eldest son's brilliance when he was just 3 years old. At 3, I knew he was a genius, Mae Musk said. This early genius paved the way for Elon Musk to become an influential entrepreneur and the richest man in the world through ventures such as PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, and now X social media platform. Mother and son have a close relationship, attending high-profile events together, such as Met Gala in New York. Mae Musk has been vocal in support of her son against attacks on X, whether from critics or bots. God damn those nasty bots. So it was natural for her to come to Elon's defense when Brendan Carr, the senior Republican of Federal Communications Commissioners, wrote in a dissent that FCC vote on Tuesday to uphold its previous decision to deny SpaceX satellite internet unit Starlink a whopping $885.5 million. So like 886 million roughly. In rural broadband subsidies fits the Biden administration's pattern of regulatory harassment, said Musk's companies. The reverse subsidy would have gone towards supplying internet service, 6,420, and homes and businesses across 35 states. For now, the $860 million will be redistributed to alternative internet providers unless SpaceX successfully appeals the judgment. Last year, after Elon Musk acquired Twitter, President Biden gave federal agencies the green light to go after him, Carr wrote, and they have. Oh, God, people going after Elon Musk. We must stop this immediately. Last year, after Elon Musk acquired Twitter, President Biden gave federal agencies the green light, and they have. Anyways. So the FCC adds itself to the growing list of federal agencies engaging in the regulatory harassment of Elon Musk. You see how the right wing, take of that was just so sensationalized? Do you see how they, built up Elon Musk and his mother as, very courageous, Elon Musk is brilliant and, amazing, he's a genius, and how dare they? And then his mother is, the mama bear, and she's, tough, do you see how they painted this? When we read this other article that was just kind of a little bit more factual, a little bit more calm. So this is something I'm learning right now in my life. I'm learning how to pick out articles that are left-leaning, right-leaning, center. Like, I'm really trying hard for this. So this is a good example of like what something a little bit more factual. And you know what? It's not like I'm saying, oh, like this is by the more factual one was like By the Hill. I'm not saying they're the best. Like, obviously, I'm not saying like this is the one you do, but just like use your reason, like learn how to read the essence of articles. Like the one here by the right side, the Independent Journal Review, whatever. It was just very sensationalized, right? Like very sensationalized. We read this other one, it's a little bit more factual. So we need to take this time to teach ourselves between, you know, the differences between something factual and something just very ingratiated, you know. Mark says it's like they're the protagonists of an Ayn Rand novel, shitty rich people to admire. Don't you know that rich people also feel feelings? It's like, yeah, that moment when they wake up before they take their medications. Anyways. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Elon Musk's mother was... Do you think it was worthy news to mention her? Because frankly, it's like she really doesn't have anything to do with the situation. And I feel like news media outlets are mentioning her, like kind of going with this title just to get the clicks. Like, Elon Musk's mother is furious. Like... But she doesn't really like have much to do with the story. So like, I don't know. Do you think that maybe like this was unnecessary and people are just using it for the clicks? What do you think? Mark says clickbait for conservative cranks. Totally. It's a commodity. It's basically a purse. It's basically fashion at that. I mean, at least they're being fashionable here. But I will say, you know, oops, I got that backwards. I will say she's a good-looking lady. I will say. Like, she is a hot older woman. And you know what? Now that I think about it, if I was to imagine Elon Musk having a mother, which frankly I haven't done till today, this would be like what I imagine. Is this her when she was young? Musk, young. How did she look when she was young? Oh, okay. Okay. Go queen. She's a sexy lady. She's definitely got that rich high life like to her. She's got that like rich person glaze. All right, go Queen. She looks fabulous, but like, why the hell are we even talking about her? The Aryan genes that colonized South Africa? Oh! Laura says, was he trying to get the subsidy or the FCC license confused? Yeah, essentially. And got denied. Like pretty much the FCC was like, this product does not do what you're saying it does. So fuck you. And then his mother comes to the rescue like, my son is brilliant and a genius. How dare you? I am furious. This is harassment. Oh my God. Must be nice to be so rich. I don't know. Of course she thinks her son's a genius. Her son's the richest fucking person in the world right now. No, he's denied the subsidy. It was like 860 million. Anyway, shall we move on? Having 3 screens is so much easier because I can look over at the screen here and I can like look at links and I can look at articles and pages before I drag them into the screen where you see it. So it gives me a chance to like do that, and it's wonderful. And then I have a whole other screen over here where I can see the chat and I can monitor the software that, makes it so I can stream. And then my center screen is the screen that you guys are seeing, where it's just the blank screen, and whatever I drag and drop into there is what you can see. So I'm super excited to have like all this space to be just a bit more organized. Okay, so we got Tucker Carlson, getting tucked. I don't know. So Tucker Carlson has network, Tucker Carlson network, like his network, parks trucks reading corporate media is dead outside legacy media outlets. This is funny. This is really funny and amusing to me. So anyways, ousted Fox News host Tucker Carlson sent billboard trucks to the offices of major media outlets Thursday to advertise his new subscription-based website. Yes! Oh, this is hilarious. Tucker Carlson Network, TCN, set up photo ops with the trucks outside of CNN, NBC News, The New York Times, and Washington Post. The advertisement on the billboard reads, "Corporate media is dead." The advertisement echoes the apparent slogan for the network in the tagline on its X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, again with that sentence. 3 times now. every fucking article we read, it has that sentence, the platform formerly known as Twitter. I'm so sick of this. Can we just move on already? Anyways, which reads, corporate media is dead. Join us. The trucks showed up on the same day the network boasted its first episode of Ask Tucker in a post to X. Carlson announced the new venture Saturday, offering an annual subscription to the service for $72 or $6 per month. He says, we've been out of work for 7 or 8 months now. Hard to know. Time flies when you're unemployed. But basically, we have been working in secret and producing an awful lot of material for months now. Interviews, etc. The host has run a free news show on X since April 2023, so April of this year, after Fox News cut ties with the actor over criticisms of company management. The former Fox News host remains under contract with the network, though. He promises exclusive interviews and other content on the site, which launched this week. So Stephen Colbert, love him, host of The Late Show, took the opportunity earlier this week to crack wise about Carlson's latest venture. The late-night comedian registered a similar domain name to the new network, directing viewers to the alternate site showing a caricature of Carlson's dancing in Russian garb with links to donation pages for global charities. I have not seen that. That would be funny to see. Do we get to see that? Can we see that without getting, like, flagged or something? Because I kind of want to see that. Let's see. I want to find this. Is this it? We'll find out. God, I hope we don't get flagged.
Welcome, one and all, in there, out there, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Senate Republicans have been holding up some of that aid to get some border wall bucks, but Zelensky warned that they're playing right in... Vlad, I'm here to say, you fall out of window in an easy way. A week, 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 a week. Spelled with a V, but he goes week. Okay. Oh, speaking of Putin, called a former Mar-a-Lago employee on his cell phone to ask why he was leaving after 2 decades of working at the resort. Hey.
Okay, we're not seeing any... Not actually seeing, like, what he did.
The Deuce responded to Hannity mocking...
Okay, so even though they said Stephen Colbert, like, released something against Tucker. I can't like find it right away, which is just like very odd to me. Yeah. I'm just doing like a general search and I can't find it. I also want to see Tucker Carlson and his trucks. It's so weird that we're seeing this article about this, but like we don't see any like images of that.
For maybe the first time since we burned down their White House, the U.S. media noticed Canada last week, and we learned just how little our neighbor without a U knew about us.
Canada canceled democracy last night.
Wait, what? We did? Tucker Carlson, sounds like you did your own research on Canada.
Justin Trudeau is the dictator of Canada.
Whoa, Justin Trudeau is not a dictator. Okay, he's a bit of a dick, but Tucker, so are you.
This is old. We can't even find that. That's so weird. There's so much information about Tucker Carlson supposedly releasing these trucks. I don't have any pictures of these. That's so weird. Anyway, so Tucker Carlson is starting his own streaming service, promising to tell unadorned truth to fans for a $72 subscription a year. He announced this Monday. Commentary, interviews, Carlson-flavored news reports, and documentaries. Even an advice show will be offered on the Tucker Carlson Network. Where's the Tucker Carlson Network? Apparently I've been here before. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Kyle Rittenhouse. Damn. This is silly.
So that leads me to the big announcement today. So tell us what you're doing. The headline that we got from your team is you're launching a streaming service. And then I will be honest, I was like, what is a streaming service? Like, is that like Hulu when I go to my TV, or Apple or Netflix? Or, well, like, explain what it means and describe the scope of it.
I'm about to make a river joke. It has nothing to do with streams. And as a trout fisherman, that makes me sad. No, it's simply bringing programming to you by subscription digitally. And we're going to be doing that for two reasons. One, X, which has just been an amazing venue for us and will continue to be our venue. And Elon Musk is really great to us. It's not set up for these videos, for example. If you put out a lot of content and we plan, that's exactly, or for subscriptions. I think it will be. I mean, there's a subscription function on X, and I think they're fine-tuning it, and I think we're going to participate in that at some point, et cetera, et cetera. But just the way that it's structured, the nature of the app doesn't lend itself to like putting a big library right in front of you on one page. And we want to do that because we have a lot of stuff. And so it's a subscription model, just like any other streaming service or one of these companies with at the end. And the point is really simple. One, you want to bring a lot of material. I hate the word content. I'm trying to think of an option. A lot of material, a lot of news, a lot of facts, a lot of thoughtful opinions to people. You want a library, okay?
Oh, Tucker Carlson and facts. Are you kidding me?
We had a huge library where we worked before. We lost the whole thing. So we want to rebuild that. And second, you need some scale. I'm not a money person, as you said correctly.
Yes, you are.
Should be a little more, but we live pretty simply, actually. So we don't. But anyway, but you need to have a lot of people work for you if you want to gather the information. There are just too many things going on, and so in order to have, a staff capable of bringing a lot of information about what's happening right now, particularly in the next 12 months, which will reshape the world, in my view. You need to pay them, and you need to have a real company. And the downside is, of course, once you have a real company, then the stakes rise. If you're a lone person, whatever, you're more cat-like. You're like the Viet Cong. You can march 20 miles and sleep in a tree. But if you're a company, you're more a fixed position and a fixed target. So there is a downside to it. But we felt that we needed to do it because there's just a lot going on. So it's a subscription service.
Okay, so, and to get it, people need to go to tuckercarlson.com right now. And as I understand it, they can sign up and they can have this subscription relationship with you for $9 a month or $72 a year, something like that. And in addition, they can still get all the free. They can still get all the free content on X and on an audio podcast that you're dropping.
Exactly. And the X stuff is not going away. And I've just been amazed by what a great platform it's been. And I've noticed the scale of it. I'm sure coming from television, you see this too. It's like the number of people who watch so dwarfs anything that's happening on linear television. It's like a different world. I know, it's amazing. But the thing that I really notice is how international it is. I mean, it truly is the world's last big free speech platform. I mean, it is that. And so there's something very appealing about that. We took 7 international trips this summer around the world, and I wanted to do that because I've been stuck in the studio for all these years, and I hadn't done it in a long time, since the beginning of the War on Terror, actually. And it just confirmed my belief that everything is changing so fast, particularly America's role in the world. And so we've got, this winter we're traveling around the world to a bunch of different places. We've got a bunch of different interviews and stories that we're doing in various countries, and that's a huge feature of it. And that, a lot of that will appear on X, but you also sort of wonder, I like long form. You now do it for a living, and you know how satisfying it is to talk to someone for more than 8 minutes. You sort of wonder, like, there's got to be a place that's easier to view than, social media are right now. And so some of that will go on X, and then if you're interested in some other features and documentaries, we're doing a bunch of documentaries. All of that is in the subscription service.
You know what this reminds me of, Tucker? I appeared at some media conference a year ago, and one of the main featured speakers.
This is Tucker's only option. This is Tucker's only option. His only option is to create his own avenue to produce media because, frankly, nobody wants him. Even Fox News doesn't want him. And that's saying something. That's saying a lot of something. I'm just wondering how many people will actually subscribe to this network.
Was Mr. Beast. And Mr. Beast, he's incredibly, incredibly successful. He's figured out the YouTube algorithm. Like the head of YouTube was there talking about how he's spoken to this guy, Jimmy, and how he's not just some kid who got lucky on YouTube. Like he figured out the algorithm and started programming to it, and just everything exploded. I think he's got 200 million subscribers now. But one of the ways in which he did it was he appeals to a worldwide audience. He's gone beyond the United States of America, and he produces content that could be interesting across cultures, across languages, and so on. And that's kind of what I see you doing. You're like becoming the Mr. Beast of news.
No, you're not.
That's a huge compliment.
No. Oh my God. No, he's not figuring out any algorithms. He's creating his own media outlet. That's not figuring out the algorithms. That's bypassing it.
Because he's been so in the medium. I would just say two things. He works with YouTube. Okay, so he's actually sort of part of their business in a way. I'm not attacking that, but that's a little bit different from what we're doing. And I would also say that he's very self-consciously, non-offensive. He's trying to appeal to his wife. He's Disney
And
trying
you're
to
the
sell
opposite.
a movie in China. So, well, a little bit. I mean, just by, not that I seek to offend people. I really don't. In fact, I think it's wrong to offend people for its own sake. I'm not giving the finger to old ladies at crosswalks. You know what I mean? I actually don't like to offend people.
No, but truth-telling in modern-day America can be offensive.
Well, in the modern-day world, I mean, what's happening in America looks very much like what's happening in half a dozen other countries I've been to in the last couple of months. I mean, it's the same template. The countries are becoming less democratic. They yelp about democracy constantly. Democracy, we're defending democracy, when in fact, they're creating permanent oligarchies with the help of technology. That's exactly what's happening. And again, not just here. The Anglosphere, they put people in concentration in Australia. They ended free speech in New Zealand and any right to self-defense. Like, these are countries that are becoming authoritarian. Canada killed, in the last few years, has killed over 40,000 of its own citizens through state-administered suicide. Like, there's all this amazing stuff. And so to push back against any of it immediately means you're going to be called, let me guess, a racist. Racist.
These are very outrageous claims. That has no backing.
And a bunch of other things, too. And so it's kind of baked in the cake. Like, you're going to make people mad if you call them out on what they're doing. That's wrong. But that's kind of the whole point, is because we don't, and that really is the whole point of the subscriptions. It's like, I don't know how honest, I should probably be here, but Elon never offered me any money or anything, or to hire me or anything like that. But I love him. I think he's wonderful. But it never occurred to me to ask to work for him, because the whole point is not working for anybody. That's like the whole point. And we turned down a couple of opportunities, very generous, and I think they were meant in the best spirit. But just the nature of that arrangement is something that at this stage of my life, I just don't want. I want to wake up and say to myself, you can say whatever you want, within the bounds of what you think is true, your own conscience, whatever, but I'm going to make those calls, and I'm going to do it without interference, period. And I'm going to tell the unadorned truth, and I hope gently and, in as least offensive way as I possibly can. But I'm going to tell that truth until the day I die, and I really mean that. And I'm going to try to do it in my personal life, too. It's one of my things that I've resolved to do until I die, because I think that's the answer. I really do.
This is the only way for you. This is the only way forward. And if you zoom out, and then we looked at...
This is the only way for Tucker Carlson. She's absolutely right. The only way is for him to create his own media outlet. Like, he has no place anywhere else.
At 94, at Tucker Carlson's career, when we look back at 53, which I think you were when the Fox decision came down, it will be the best thing that ever happened to you. It'll be a great thing for America. You look at the stats. We just had numbers out today. In fact, my team pulled these for me, and I thought they were very interesting on what cable's doing, what broadcast is doing right now. And I know that it's a dying business, but the stats actually show it. Just not for nothing, but take a listen to this. The headline at The Verge is, it's official. People are not watching TV as much as they used to. Linear TV now accounts for less than 50% of all TV usage. So, you got a TV in your house. You turn it on, you have all sorts of options. You can turn on cable, you can turn on your broadcast television networks, ABC.
Oh, it's true. I haven't had cable television in definitely over 10 years, because I use my television to watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, anything really but cable television.
NBC, CBS. Or you can turn on, or you can go to Apple, you can go to Hulu, you can go to Netflix, you can go to Amazon Prime, or you can go to YouTube. You can, like, you have all different Rumble. You have different options there now, and those different options are now dominating the more than 50%. Cable and linear television entirely, never mind news, are dying. So you've left a dying animal, and you've gotten on top of this new exciting horse, and you're gonna ride it.
It's not that new. It's not that new and exciting. It's not that new and exciting for people to create their own, like, outlets. It's really not. It's like, it's his only choice. Like, he does this or he fucks off, and he's not gonna fuck off.
It off into the sunset all the way to your dying day, Tucker, and I think you're going to be an important.
Wait a minute. Canada has legalized assisted euthanasia under fairly strict criteria. Oh, interesting. Hold on. Well, let's finish this first.
Voice even more so than you were. Debt. You can go to bed thinking about it. You can wake up thinking about it. It can haunt you throughout the day. High interest credit cards and loans make it nearly impossible to pay off your debt. And insane inflation keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck. The system traps you in debt. Donewithdebt.com can be a lifetime. Lifeline. The lifeline of a lifetime. I've talked about my own experience with debt in the past, so believe me, I know what it.
I don't want to. Okay, so she's done. Let's see, what is this? I did not know. So, under the current law, people who are terminally ill when they apply for assisted death must be assessed by a physician or a nurse practitioner. Applicants who have a non-life threatening illnesses and disabilities must undergo assessments by two separate clinicians. They also must undergo a 90-day waiting period. See, I am somebody who's a proponent of death by dignity. I truly believe that people under certain criteria who have terminal illnesses, I think they have a right to a death that's comfortable, that they're ready for, that they choose. I don't think it's right to know that people are going to die and forcing them to struggle to the very end. I think there definitely should be some room there for them to choose to leave with dignity. This is something I truly believe in. So anyways, is choosing death too easy in Canada? And I believe I talked about this with Susan in a live stream on the Oculus, on the Neogenian Oculus. I believe we talked about this very thing, this sort of death by dignity thing. So anyways, since government expanded the eligibility for assisted death last year to include those with disabilities, critics have been saying there should be more checks and balances. Okay, I mean, it's a very serious, permanent decision, so it definitely should. Hey, Lee. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat. Or wait, no, you're a member for 9 months. Thank you so much. Says, I agree, Jan. Why make people suffer, fix the world, or give people the choice? I mean, if it's like you're making somebody suffer to the very end in a painful way when they could just be like, you know what, if this is an inevitability, if I'm going to die, like, for certain within like a matter of months or like a year, like, let me make the choice to go out now where I'm comfortable, where I'm sane, where I'm able to comprehend what's going on. Let me say goodbye to my family. I think that's something a lot of people will want. I truly do. And I think they should have that. And I think that could be a beautiful moment where people have closure when their loved ones die. I really do. So anyways, the first time Cheryl Romero tried to end her life under Canada's assisted suicide law, her application was rejected, but after a loosening of the law, she received approval to end her life. She now intends to do just that. She says, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest. So last year, Canada changed its assisted death law by permitting people with chronic, grievous, and irredeemable conditions and physical disabilities to commit suicide, even if they are not terminally ill. Okay. See, that makes sense to me, because even if you're not terminally ill, if your quality of life is so dismal and such a struggle, and that's all your life is about, I would frankly permiss, choosing to exit the game. And so this allowed Miss Romero, who has undergone 41 medical procedures in 10 years for a painful and worsening spinal cord condition, but had been told her death from the condition was not reasonably foreseeable to qualify for a death on her own terms. She says, you can have a good death. You can have your family there with you. It's traumatic still to them, but it's not the same as the shock of suicide, which people will do when they're at pain levels where there's no hope. Yeah. So Canada is among 12 countries and several American states where assisted death is permitted in certain circumstances. Since last year, it has been one of the last 3, including Belgium and the Netherlands, that allow an assisted death of the person, or allowed assisted death if the person is suffering from a chronic pain condition, even if that condition is not terminal. Although the Canadian law was hotly debated in 2016 when it was originally enacted, it has won broad public acceptance since then, with polls showing strong support. Through December of 2021, over 30,000 Canadians have received assisted deaths. Of those, 224 who died last year were not terminally ill, taking advantage of the last year's amendment. But the change in the law has reignited debate over the system. In March, the law will expand again to apply to people with some mental disorders. A parliamentary committee of lawmakers is studying what standards should govern those cases. Its report is expected in the fall. That's interesting. Thinking about granting that wish to people who suffer from mental disorders. There are genuinely people out there in the world, and I know this is a tough subject. There are genuinely people out there in the world with mental struggles who are ready to go. They're just ready to go. They can go to therapy, they can take medication, they can rationalize and reason with it and understand it, but they just do not want to be in this iteration of life. So I'm not sure. I think there's more gray area there, because I would like to believe that a lot of people with mental health issues who are really want to leave life. I still think there's hope for rehabilitation there. When it comes to like physical suffering, I feel like way more charitable towards that, but like, I guess it's just me, like my own biases, where it's like, if somebody is mentally struggling and they're ready to go, like maybe it's something within me that thinks that's so wrong. Like, what's wrong about that? But I think that should be something that is taking into consideration, something very serious. And I do believe people can be rehabilitated. Anyways, but the change in the law has, blah, blah, blah. Among those critics there are critics saying Canada is going too far. Among those critics are 3 United Nations disability and human rights experts who said in a letter to the Canadian government that in legalizing assisted suicide for disabled people who are not terminally ill, the law as written has devalued their lives, suggesting that significant disability can be worse than death. Yeah, I could see that. That's a good point. Like, are we really saying that a lot of these mental struggles are worse than death? I think that's where the gray area is. It's like a game of finding the line or the border of like if somebody could be rehabilitated and if there's nothing they can do. Now, my problem with that is knowing that as a human race, we, as the whole world, we are just coming into an understanding of mental health. Like, we are just scratching the surface. So it's like, I understand the idea of allowing somebody that exit, but also I'm thinking like there's so much we have to discover and so much we have to change about ourselves as a society, as how we run, as how we like live our lives as a collective, that can infinitely like improve people's mental health. Like the problem, I guess that's where I'm just like so in distress about that, because I'm like somebody who's in mental distress so much that they're like, I have to go, like I have to end it. I just want to say like it's not you, it's the world. And I wish I could reach out to those kinds of people who are ready to go and say like it's not you, it's the world, and please stay here, please help us change it. So, you know, I guess that's where I'm coming from. Like, it's not their fault, it's the world's fault. Like, stay here, help us change it. So some say that the law's expansion Canada is turning assisted suicide into almost routine medical option instead of treating it as an extraordinary measure taking in limited situations. Interesting. I don't want to read the rest of this. I think I get the point. All right, I'm going to pee again, and then we're going to move on to our last subject. It's chilly. It is chilly. I turned the heat on, but God, it takes like it's so much to heat this place up, and we have gas heaters. It takes so much to heat this place up. Like, I don't know. Like, I just have to put on clothes. Zip my hoodie up. It doesn't help that I'm a person who likes to, like, dwell in my house in my underwear. I don't know, like, the moment I get into my home, like, pants off. Like, it is underwear mode, okay? I don't know who else does this, but it's like, if somebody comes to my door, I have to take a minute to put pants on. Like, my house, my rules, no pants. Never. Like, it's just totally weird to wear pants and clothes inside my house. I'm always in my underwear. I don't give a shit. I will stream in my underwear to the day I fucking die. Lee, clothes? Who the hell wears clothes? So anyways, we have our last subject of the day. Where are my windows? Oh my fuck. Let's see. I just have to be in my underwear when I'm in my house, okay? It just doesn't... You know, thinking about the idea of, like, people wanting to leave their life, you know, as a Neogenian, because we understand consciousness to be something that doesn't die, it doesn't cease to exist. If we die, we simply connect to a new body, we're reincarnated, and not in a weird Eastern mystical sense, like with karma and all that junk. Like, we literally just relocate. So when somebody is suffering from mental despair, or, you know, just mental troubles, one, I think this world is not equipped to deal with mental issues, so I think the world is failing these people. And two, you know, with the understanding that you don't actually die and you relocate, it's like, I want to say to those people who want to leave, like, what makes you think the next life iteration is going to be better? Like, what about the next lifetime that you experience? Do you think it's going to be different enough to where, you know, you're going to come on top? And, you know, it's like you really need to seize this lifetime opportunity to overcome these things. But at the same time, this world doesn't give people the right tools to overcome these things. So the world is failing them. So I want to be careful when I say that, because in a way it could sound like I'm saying, like, you're just not trying hard enough. But that's the last thing I would want to put into these people's minds. I just feel helpless, I guess. I feel helpless in the face of knowing that there are people out there with mental struggles who are ready to go, and no matter how you talk to them, they can be perfectly reasonable, but they're just ready to go. And it's like, well, I can't accept that, and then it becomes about me and not them. So it's like, this is something that I think needs, like, a profession in. Like, there needs to be a study in this, and there is to an extent, but, like, there needs to be for professionals to talk to these people. I'm definitely not one of those professionals. Okay, let's see. Moving along. Singing along, moving along. Looking at the news. Where's my bookmark? Okay, so our next subject is we have a teacher in Florida that's suing over a pronoun law, and I think what this has to do with is that the law in Florida says like you can't it's like the don't say gay law. And this is a non-binary teacher who goes by the honorary title of mix, and we've talked about this before. You know how you say Mr. and Mrs.? So the non-binary one is mix, MX. You say it like mix, like you're mixing something. MX, mix. So instead of Mr. or Mrs., you say mix. Like, I am not Mr. Jan Erickson. I am Mix Jan Erickson. Like, I am Mix Erickson. Like, that's like my honorary title. If you were to address me in a very honorary way, you would say, hello, Mix Erickson. Excuse me, Mix Erickson. Like, that's how you would say. For me, gonna blow this up. Look how tiny. Only have a minute? Try listening instead. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care to read. I do it because I have to. No, stop it. Stop. No, just go away. Just let me read the fucking article.
Shedding their titles at the schoolhouse gate. Teachers sue over Florida's pronoun law. 3 teachers on Wednesday filed a federal lawsuit alleging a new state law shedding their titles at the schoolhouse gate. Teachers sue over Florida's pronoun law. 3 teachers on Wednesday filed a federal lawsuit alleging a new state law restricting titles and pronouns at schools unconstitutionally discriminates against transgender and non-binary educators. The lawsuit is the latest challenge to a series of measures, championed by Governor Ron DeSantis and passed by the Republican-controlled legislature, that have targeted transgender children and adults and other LGBTQ people. The case focuses on a part of a 2023 law that says a school employee may not provide to a student his or her preferred personal title or pronouns if such preferred personal title or pronouns do not correspond to his or her sex.
Isn't that weird, though? I think people are missing the point with this pronoun shit. Especially the right-wing conservatives. I don't think they're realizing at heart that when they talk about not transgender people or non-binary people, but when the right-wing conservatives talk about pronouns, it's like they want a pronoun that matches your genitals. They want to know what genitals you have within your name. Like when you say, I'm Mr. This or I'm Mrs. That, it's like, I'm penis this, or it's like, hi, my name is Vagina Jan. Like, you just as well say that. You just as well be doing that. Like, hi, my name is Vagina Jan. Like, which has a ring to it, I must admit. But it's like... Or for Mark, if you're Mark, you're like, my name is Dick Mark. Like... Dick Mark. Like, that's just what it kind of seems like, right? Like, isn't it weird? So it's like, it's so weird that there's people in this world that if they don't know what kind of genitals you have on first impressions, if they're not introduced with that, if they don't know what genitals you have, they don't know how to interact with you. They don't know what to do with you. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Doesn't that seem weird? Doesn't that seem gross, frankly? That our whole linguistic interaction as a society here, especially in America, is by our genitals. Testicle Terry, exactly. Thank you, Shadow Dragon. Thank you. Hello. Hi, my name is Testicle Terry. Like, just, yeah, Lee's like, I'm Penis Lee. Like, and if you're intersex, you're like, I don't know. My name is Penis Lee. And I'm Vagina Jen. Isn't that? It's weird. It's just weird. Come on. Anyways, continuing.
The plaintiffs in the lawsuit are transgender teachers in Hillsborough and Lee counties and a non-binary teacher who was fired by Florida Virtual School in October after refusing to drop the title MX and the pronouns they/them. The law discriminates against transgender and non-binary public school employees and contractors on the basis of sex by prohibiting them from using the titles and pronouns that express who they are, attorneys for the plaintiffs wrote. The pronoun and title prohibitions also violate the employee's First Amendment rights and civil rights laws, the lawsuit said. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
No!
People, what's the weirdest place?
That was scary. The sponsor is so loud. Screw that shit. What the hell?
Place you've gotten lucky.
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary.
The new law requires plaintiffs to shed their titles and pronouns at the schoolhouse gate because they are not the titles and pronouns that Florida prefers for the sex it deems them to be, attorneys for the plaintiffs argued. The lawsuit, filed in the Federal Northern District of Florida, asks Chief U.S. District Judge Mark Walker to block the law from being enforced and award compensation to the teachers. The plaintiffs are Hillsborough County High School teacher Katie Wood, a Lee County teacher identified as Jane Doe, and A.V. Schwanz, a non-binary Orange County teacher who was fired by Florida Virtual School in October. Defendants include State Education Commissioner Manny Diaz, the Department of Education, the State Board of Education and its 7 members, other state education officials and the school boards in Lee and Hillsborough counties. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of the teachers by lawyers for the Southern Poverty Law Center, Southern Legal Counsel Incorporated, and San Francisco-based Altshuler Berzin LLP. It alleges the law violates the First Amendment because it prohibits transgender and non-binary school employees from using the titles and pronouns that express who they are, treating them differently from colleagues.
You know, it's so weird to put these laws into place because I know what they're doing. They're putting the laws in place with the conceptualization of children. They're like, we have to prevent children from getting into this ridiculous ideology. But what they fail to realize, and what a lot of right-wing conservatives, and not to mention people who just don't like non-binary people in general, I'm going to lump you all up. Sorry, yeah, all of you. Where was I going with that? They don't... Oh, hi, Cassie. I just totally lost my point. That's funny. Anyways. What was I talking about? Somebody remind me, quick. Cassie came in and I got distracted. the children. Oh, yeah. Okay. So they make these laws thinking about children, like, hey, prevent the children from getting into this ridiculous ideology. But what these right-wing conservatives don't think about is the fact that there are tax-paying adults and people who just don't like non-binary people. I don't fucking care. Fuck you. There is a population of non-binary people who are tax-paying adults, who are bill-paying, tax-paying, working-class adults. Working-class adults. So, you know, if you don't like non-binary people, if you're gonna fucking deny them the right to their pronouns, fuck you. We're here. We're queer. Get used to it. Anyways. No, but there are working class, tax-paying, non-binary adults. This is not a silly children's fad. So it becomes just like difficult to work in the world where they're like ban pronouns, and you're like, I'm a fucking like 40-year-old person. Hey, I'm just trying to get by. I don't give a shit about all this ideology crap. Like, I'm just trying to live. Children are always weaponized to push ideology. Yes. And you know what? We've covered that before, where we've discovered a lot of these organizations, these religious organizations that also have ties into like the medical community, why they're banning healthcare for trans children. They said very specifically that we're targeting children not because we care about them, but because that's the right thing to do, because it's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do.
Florida has stigmatized plaintiffs, threatened their psychological well-being, upended the respect that is owed to them as educators and that is necessary for a safe workplace and functioning classroom, and put their professions and families' well-being on the line. Florida's statute must give way to the Constitution and laws of the United States and must not be enforced, the plaintiff's lawyers wrote in the 61-page complaint. The reach of the law, the plaintiffs contend, is not limited to school campuses and applies wherever, whenever, and however an employee interacts with students. Before signing the bill in May, DeSantis criticized how pronouns were being used in schools. We never did this through all of human history until 2 weeks ago. Now this is something, they're having third graders declare pronouns?
You dumb bitch. DeSantis is such a dumb bitch, okay? No, okay. So first of all, there's this point that people are trying to make, the saying that non-binary never existed until today, until kids decided to make it up for fun. Guess what? Non-binary people have existed throughout all time, through all of human history. There is a ton of examples of non-binary people in history. Like, this is nothing new. Like, it's in the very fabric of, like, human mythology. Think about all the weird gods there are that are just, like, androgynous and non-binary and not exactly female or male. Yeah, exactly. Mark says it, like, no ancient society had a third sex. Like, no modern, non-Western society has an idea of a third sex or a third gender. Like there are societies and people with beliefs that they're like, no, that gender is not binary. It's a multitude of things. Like it's such a, this is gonna sound so woke. Like, this might be the wokest thing I've said, but it's such a white colonizer mentality of just like, there's only two genders. Like, nobody believes in that. It's like, there's several, societies that believe in that. You just destroyed them. You destroyed them.
We're not doing the pronoun Olympics in Florida. It's not happening here, DeSantis said. But the lawsuit argued that DeSantis and his allies enacted the measures at least in part because of, not merely in spite of, the adverse effects they would have, both individually and in the aggregate, on LGBTQ+ people, especially transgender and non-binary people, in various aspects of life. DeSantis' office and the Department of Education did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the lawsuit. The law targeted in the case also included an expansion of a controversial 2022 measure, which critics dubbed Don't Say Gay, that restricted instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity
so
in
silly.
schools. The 2023 law also bolstered another contentious 2022 law that ramped up scrutiny of instructional materials and school library books. The new case only challenges the part of the law restricting the use of titles and pronouns. Under that part of the law, school superintendents could lose their salaries for a year if they receive complaints about potential violations and do not report it to the Department of Education. Misgendering a person by using the incorrect pronouns or titles can cause that person's psychological distress and feelings of stigma.
Yeah.
So can prohibiting a person from going by titles and pronouns that express the person's gender identity. Lawyers for the plaintiffs.
So a lot of these right-wing conservatives are just people who don't like more than two genders. They often act like, oh, if I misgender you, that's not going to hurt you. You need to just like take it and move on. You need to just ignore it. I don't think these people want to take the time to think about how it can hurt. And, I mean, yes, of course, there's a part of people where it's like, if you say something mean to me, it's my responsibility how I act or how I let it affect me. It's true. It's true with everybody. But the problem with misgendering people, especially if you know that it could cause psychological distress, but you're like, I know you can tell me it causes that distress, but I'm going to do it anyways because I don't think it's real. What that does is that allows you, if you're in this mindset, it allows you to be comfortable with being derogatory to somebody else. Like, if you can know that that's something that makes them uncomfortable, but you do it anyways, you're training yourself to be comfortable with being derogatory and even dehumanizing to somebody else. Because there's people who are like, oh, well, if you're non-binary, then you're an it. Haha, you're just an it. You're not a human. Like, that's a dehumanizing act. And if you're comfortable with dehumanizing, then often it will lead to being comfortable with physically harming, this, that, and the other. Now, that can be a slippery slope, but the problem with that, you know, it being potentially slippery slope, is if we've seen it before in history in multitudes of examples. We know what happens in society when a group of people become comfortable with being derogatory to another group of people. It gets to a point where you are comfortable with verbally abusing somebody, then you're comfortable with physically abusing them, then you're comfortable with genocide. Okay, it's happened in human history. That's the problem. That's why non-binary people are like, hey, the pronouns thing actually is important, and if you don't honor that, you know, or just respect that, then this is a serious, dangerous thing, because you're teaching yourself to be comfortable with degrading and dehumanizing, and eventually you're going to be comfortable with more, a little bit more, then you can hit somebody, punch somebody, vote against them, deny their rights, like so on and so forth, and next thing you know, that those people are in encampments. Like, hey, Fachita, thank you so much for the super chat. I love that. Thank you so much. Wait, what? Wait. Do we have a troll in our thing? Like Peck Jow? Wait, don't delete him yet. I want to play. Who's an entitled bigot? You'll leave now. Oh, you're gonna leave now. Why are you gonna leave? We have a guy, or I don't know. I don't care about gendering you. There's a person in the chat who's really upset about what I'm saying. And they're saying they're going to leave now. But I was like, I just barely like caught on to like they're in the chat. So I'm just like, what are you saying? What are you saying, dude? But did they leave? I guess that I'm an entitled bigot. Because Mark says because they're throwing around accusations they can't back out. You know, people just get angry, but they don't bother like thinking about it. They said you just demonstrated why I was going to leave, dummy. I guess I did. Take it, honey. You take it and you go on. You get on with your evening now. You go on, get on with your day. Have an ice cream. Relax. And fuck off, frankly. Have a good night and fuck you. I love people on the internet. Go ahead and delete. No, nobody delete him. No. Delete me, Mrs. Stalin. Yeah, no. I'm not a Mrs. I'm a mix. Thank you. And I'm not a Stalin. You're a troll. Thank you and good night. Anyways. Moving along.
Wrote. Wood, who has worked as a teacher in Hillsborough County since 2021, transitioned as a woman around 2020, had her name legally changed and lives as a woman, the lawsuit said. The state issued a teaching certificate in her legal name, Katie Wood. According to the lawsuit, county officials initially were supportive of her transgender status and her female gender identity and expression. Since the law went into effect, the principal at Wood School and the county school board told her she could no longer be called Ms. because her sex is deemed male.
Well, that's weird.
The officials told Wood she could use the titles Mr. Teacher.
Wouldn't that be weird if you have a teacher that is like very female presenting, but the school is making you call them Mr.? Isn't that weird?
Or Coach. Going by titles like Mr. and pronouns like he and him would harm Ms. Wood, including emotionally, risk physical harm from others, and disrupt her classroom and ability to do her job. Avoiding titles and pronouns altogether would be impractical, disruptive, and stigmatizing, the lawsuit said. Wood adopted the title teacher, but the lawsuit alleged the title has negatively affected her ability to teach and is a distraction to students. The three teachers have also filed discrimination complaints with federal labor officials. This story was originally published December 14, 2023, 1:53.
All right, that's the end of that. Let's see. This guy says, my point was tolerance versus acceptance. Why ignore? Nobody's ignoring you. You said you were going to leave. Implementing mandates isn't tolerance, by the way. What are you talking about? This is something that I talk about regularly, and it's people who are like, they hate non-binary people or they hate the whole trans thing. They literally post. Like, they're schizophrenic. Like, they just schizo post, like, random sentence fragments. They're just like, this! Did you know? And it's like, well, no, because you just shouted a sentence at me, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but by all means, pretend you're in the right. It's almost like children shouting, you know what I mean? Like, people like this guy just shout. I'm talking about how your movement preached tolerance. What movement? What do you know? What am I preaching? And what are you preaching? You're still not making any sense. you talking about? Can you type more than 2 sentences? Yeah, so there's this thing like, let's see. The paradox of intolerance. Paradox of intolerance. And this is something that we go by. Maybe there's a good video on it. We're going to make this a teachable moment. Yes, the Jan movement. Fucking pronouns! Yes, Elise. Fucking pronouns! Where's that? I just gotta hear it, like, real quick. I'm not deceptive, you little bitch. Shut up. This is this guy in our chat right now. Fucking pronouns! Nobody's being deceptive, you little bitch. You just don't know what to say. Let's see.
To be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity!
Fucking
California shit!
Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! So what Pake Jiao, or however you pronounce your name, says, forcing somebody who doesn't agree with you but tolerates you to influence their children is perverted. So what you don't realize is that children aren't being influenced. Children aren't being influenced. And what you don't understand is that transgender people and gay people don't sprout out of nowhere. They don't magically become gay and transgender. There's children who are gay and transgender. Like, you know, like these things don't just magically happen. People don't just magically choose that shit. There are trans and gay children. So what are you going to do to protect them? Are you going to sit there and tell them blue to their face that they're being influenced by evil and that they're straight on a pathway that they can't escape from? Like, are you really going to demonize a child? Are you really going to demonize and degrade and dehumanize a child just because you don't like this shit? Trans and gay people do not sprout out of nowhere. No. I don't influence children. Where are the children in my audience? Tell me, where are the children in my audience? By the way, we're getting ready to close up. I just thought I'd have some fun with this guy. And by the way, feel free to drag him as well. You do influence children. Stop being dishonest. No, I don't. There's no children in my feed. So what are you talking about? You're not defending the sanctity of parenthood. You don't give a shit about children. Admit it. You don't care about children. You care about destroying what you hate. You're using children to deliver that hate. So frankly, you are using children. My movement. You don't even know what my movement is. You can't even label it. There's no movement. You don't even know what you're saying. This guy's in denial. Not only is he in denial, but he's stupid too. Yeah, exactly, Elise. Elise says, don't hide your bigotry behind the care of children. No, you don't care about parenthood. You're lying. Don't lie. Anyways. All right, everybody. It's good to see you. We're going to wrap it up. Oh, you know what? Before we wrap it up, let's look at some cool news for a minute. We're going to look at, let's see. I decided, because we always, like, in these live streams, it's always about, like, current news and stuff. So I thought I would add a little segment of just, like, some science news, you know, like some space news, things like that. So let's take a look at what's going on in outer space. And this will be our palate cleanser for the evening. By the way, admins, if you want to delete that guy, you can, because, I mean, he's not smart or capable of having a rational conversation. So they can just leave. Yeah, Mark has a kid, so yeah, thank you, Mark. Thank you. It's fun. It's cool to have a little bit of fun with trolls, but, you know, after a while it's like, okay, we got a thing to do, okay? We gotta go. We gotta do a thing. We gotta hang out. I love how those people have, like, no point. They're just like, them had no purpose. I'm defending the sanctity of parenthood. It's like, do you know how many fucking parents we have in the chat? And grandparents? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, fuck you, dude. Where's my space news? All right, space news coming up. Just a little lag on the computer. Hold on. Yes, we are adding a segment of space news. I think we can get it from NASA, maybe. NASA? I don't want to get that from Fox News. So, the Webb telescope, like, balls deep into space, captures a detailed look inside a supernova. Wow, look at this. Wow, these words are so tiny. I can't fucking read them. Look at this. This isn't real. Come on, this is AI. What is this? Is this real? Is this literally real? Because this is like a beautiful image. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope new view of Cassiopeia in a near-infrared light is giving astronomers hint that the dynamical process occurring within the supernova remnant. You've got to be kidding me. This looks fake. Space does not look like that. Come on. Astronomers use Webb's near-infrared camera to see supernova remnant of a different wavelengths of light, those used in previous observations. The image could help researchers better understand the process that fuel these massive incendiary events. Is that it? That's it. That's it. We got these beautiful images. I think that's fucking fabulous. Look at that. It's amazing. And then there was something about Saturn. So this is about something in Saturn's moon, Enceladus. Saturn's icy moon, Enceladus. Scientists have found hydrogen cyanide, a key molecule in creation of life, in the oceans of Saturn's icy moon, Enceladus, according to a new study based on data from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, blah, 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 NASA. The study published this week that I can't see. Reveals the oceans beneath the frozen surface of Enceladus may have more chemical energy than previously believed. Is that how you pronounce that, Enceladus? Let's find out. If you don't know what the fuck, just look it up and say Enceladus.
Enceladus.
Oh, not Enceladus. Enceladus.
Enceladus.
Enceladus. Okay, so. Anyways, beneath the frozen of Enceladus may have more chemical energy than previously believed, which could support the formation of survival of complex organic compounds. So the moon on Saturn, Enceladus, the moon's oceans are known to be filled with organic molecules and compounds crucial for life as we understand it. The findings add a layer of evidence, strengthening the water's ability to hold life. For the study, the researchers reanalyzed data from Cassini, which orbited Saturn from 2004 to 2017, and sampled the plumes of gas, water, and ice that erupted from Enceladus' surface. They detected hydrogen cyanide along with methanol, ethane, and oxygen in plumes of water vapor erupting from the surfaces of an Enceladus, suggesting that the moon's ocean chemistry is more diverse and dynamic than previously known. Our workers provides further evidence that Enceladus is host to some of the most important molecules for both creating and building blocks of life, and for sustaining that life through metabolic reactions, said Jonah Peter, NASA man. He also said, not only does Enceladus seem to meet the basic requirements for habitability, we now have an idea about how complex biomolecules could form there and what sort of chemical pathways might be involved. The Cassini mission, a joint project between NASA and the European Space Agency and the Italian Space Agency, consists of Huygens lander, which is landed on Saturn's largest moon, Titan, although to be a candidate to... Yeah, you know, we all forget, like, that we put something on Titan. Let's see. I watched this really cool, I found this video, like, yesterday or the day before. It doesn't matter. But, so there's this thing where it's like planets actually make a sound. Have you ever thought about like what Earth sounds like from space, or like what Venus sounds like from space? Like, we actually landed something on Titan and we were able to listen to what it sounded like. It was really cool. Let's do what the Earth sounds like first. Wait, no, let's do Titan sounds like first. Let's see. Hopefully we won't get clocked for this video.
Back in 2005, an advanced probe named Huygens began plummeting through the thick clouds of Saturn's largest moon, Titan. Huygens is a European Space Agency probe that travelled for 7 years attached to the side of NASA's famous Cassini spacecraft, with the goal of studying the solar system's most Earth-like world. Titan is an icy moon that is shrouded by a hazy, golden atmosphere which obscures its mysterious, frigid surface. It is the second largest moon in the solar system, even larger than the planet Mercury, and is the only world besides Earth to have standing bodies of liquid, including rivers, lakes, and seas. Its thick atmosphere is primarily made up of nitrogen, with a hint of methane, and its surface is bitterly cold, dropping to around minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus
That's chilly as fuck!
9 degrees Celsius. It is so cold here, water is frozen harder than rock. When the Huygens probe separated from Cassini and began its treacherous journey towards Titan, no one knew what to expect. Would it plunge into an ocean of liquid methane, crash into jagged ice mountains, or perhaps sink into a pit of frozen hydrocarbon quicksand? What could be found below these opaque clouds was largely a mystery, and so Huygens had to be prepared for anything.
That's nuts. That's fucking nuts. We actually landed something on this fucking thing.
It took the probe 2 hours and 27 minutes to parachute through the giant moon's thick atmosphere, which extends out more than 6 times further into space than Earth's does, before touching down on what resembles a dried-up lake bed or floodplain, as this incredible image reveals. Before Huygens began studying the moon's icy surface, however, it first collected data from the atmosphere during its long descent. Among a payload of scientific instruments, Huygens was equipped with a microphone that recorded the noisy sound of
This is crazy.
wind rushing by the probe as it passed through the moon's golden-colored haze, allowing the listener to hear what it would sound like if you were able
Turn
to
up your
skydive
sound.
through
This is
the
crazy.
clouds of Titan. So sit back, plug in your headphones, and immerse yourself into a soundscape that was recorded on another world billions of miles away.
It sounds like regular air, like very windy. Skip ahead a little
To
bit.
give a realistic reproduction of what you would hear if it were possible for you to fall through Titan's atmosphere.
Wait, we didn't?
The microphone was a part of the atmosphere.
Okay, that's crazy. Did you know we know like what Earth sounds like? That's crazy. Apparently, it's like, it's really creepy. It is kind of creepy.
Surrounding our planet is a powerful, dynamic, invisible force. Without it, life on Earth as we know it would not be possible. It is our protective blanket that shields us from the constant bombardment of space weather. This is the magnetosphere, an immense magnetic field that is generated deep within the Earth's interior at its core. It extends out into space, creating a strong protective shield against things such as charged particles zipping out of the sun, called the solar wind. And without this power...
Dude, we are being bombarded with like solar winds all the fucking time, and because of like the Earth's magnetic like situation, like it totally protects us. It's so weird. It's so weird how we are on a planet that, frankly, in every right, we should not be alive, yet we are.
Full magnetic field, Earth would likely be a barren, cold, dry world. Our red neighbour, Mars, is a good example of what happens when a planet similar to Earth loses its global magnetic field. Our magnetic field is largely generated by an ocean of superheated, swirling liquid iron that makes up the outer core of Earth around 1,800 miles beneath our feet, which is around 2,900 kilometers beneath our feet. Despite being essential to life as we know it, the magnetic field isn't something we can actually see or hear in itself. But we can see its effects on the Earth's atmosphere.
Except for birds! Apparently. Maybe. Pigeons? We don't know.
In the form of the stunning visual display called the Aurora Borealis, or the Aurora Australis. And now we can also hear it. Researchers from the Technical University of Denmark took the magnetic signals, the radio frequencies measured by the European Space Agency's Swarm satellite mission, and
Shadow Dragon is like, and here we are on this planet worrying about pronouns. Fucking pronouns!
Converted them into sound. The result is an eerie representation of our planet's rumbling magnetic field and its interaction with a solar storm. The we're about to experience might sound like the stuff of nightmares, but sit back, relax, and listen to the strange creaking, crackling, and rumbling of our planet's protective shield. This is the sound of the Earth's magnetic field.
This is what Earth sounds like. Honestly, this is like ASMR. This is kind of comforting. I don't really think it's that creepy. That's pretty cool. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's good to be back. I know I took a little bit of a 2-week break, but I was just working all the time. So it's good to see you again. Really excited to be back. We are back on schedule. And yeah. We covered some really cool topics tonight. I think we had some really interesting conversations. Oh, Susan says, I just came in. Is it over? Yes, it is over, and we are signing out with the cool sounds of Earth's magnetic field. But if anybody misses the live stream, you can just go back and watch the replay. Thanks for the stream, Vagina Jan. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. What in the fuck? Earth is weird. Anyways. Alright, people. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your time. We will see you next week. And until we meet again, ad Astra.